Okay, eighth graders, this video is how to photograph your object and also how to start from there, like how to start practice sketching, brainstorming composition, and then how to start the actual project. So first of all, when you're photographing an object, I tried to photograph one on a Chromebook and it was really difficult. The photo was not good quality. It was hard to get an angle. So I would not suggest taking the photo off the Chromebook. I'm sorry if that's the only camera you have. I'll try to work with you and like tell you another way that you could possibly do this. But for the most part, I want you to take the picture either on like a phone or an iPad or some other device where you can get a little bit more clarity. When photographing your object, whatever it may be, it could be something very small. It could be like a bow tie or a paper clip or a key. It doesn't have to be anything super detailed. I wanted to go with this content because these shoes belong to my children. So, you know, it's you put more into an art project if you have something personally invested into it. Sorry, disregard those bells. Anyway, so I chose a particularly detailed object, but you don't have to. And when photographing, make sure and have one light source on there. So as you can see from my picture here, it's a little blurry on my screen, but I feel like you guys could probably see it clearly. There's just one very clear cast shadow from each shoe. There's not like multiple cast shadows. If you're looking under my hand right now, let's see, I have two light sources. Well, oh, I'm sorry. I don't have the other light source on. There we go. So you see how I see one shadow going to the left, one shadow going to the right. Whenever you have multiple light sources, things become a little confusing as far as like where to shade, where to do the highlight. But if you just have one, you should have one clear cast shadow, one clear side that's in the light, one clear side that's in the shadows. Put it under like a lamp if you have in your house. Make sure all other lights are off and make sure you're not close to a window. If I turn both my lights off, you can see that I have a lot of fluorescent lights on in this room, so I have multiple cast shadows. And then I also have a window next to me. So I have tons of light sources in here. I would need to cut some out when photographing. So anywho, there's my image. And the first thing I want you to do is a quick practice sketch. I'd like you to do at least 4 different compositions. So composition is like where you put the object on the page, how close the object is or how far away, and then how much dead space there is. That's kind of what you're focusing on. A lot of people want to just zoom like right into it and just draw the object. They don't really think about where it is on the page. So this is what I want you to do first, is just brainstorm. My compositions don't look that different. On this one, it's just kind of like close up, shoes in the center. This one is a little bit more to the left where the cast shadow might like run off the edge of the page, leaving a little bit more dead space to the right. This one is a zoomed out version, so the shoes appear a little bit smaller. You can see the full cast shadow, and then again, you have the dead space on the right side. Now, when I say dead space, don't consider that to be a bad thing. It's kind of like, sorry, that drives me crazy. Anyway, it's just kind of an area where there's sort of like a visual break. It kind of focuses you over here. Sometimes when there's dead space, you can think about your object sort of like moving into that area, like kind of like what lays ahead of these shoes, where are they going to walk, where are they going to go? So you can have sort of a metaphorical reason for leaving that dead space, or you can just say, it looks nice, that's why I want to leave it. Okay, and then the last one is a zoomed out version, shoes in the center. So I did try 4 different compositions. I liked them zoomed out just a little bit to where you could see the full interesting cast shadow and then leaving some dead space to the right. So what I did to get started on my project is I just really lightly kind of sketched in the shoes. They are kind of a zoomed out version, so you can see the full shoe, you can see the full shadow. My whole paper doesn't really fit under here, but you can see that there's quite a bit of dead space to the right. If you're not working on a paper this big, I'm working on a 12 by 18 piece. You might not be able to leave that much dead space. When sketching in your objects to start, just sketch them in super, super lightly with pencil. Only when you start knowing things are in the exact right place can you get a little bit darker and then start thinking about shading. I still have quite a bit to go on adding detail before I start shading. As you can see, these shoes are pretty detailed here. But I just tried to get kind of okay, here's the size of the shoes. The shoes are proportional to one another. I actually want you to measure, like, okay, this shoe is the same width as this shoe or just a little bit wider, so it should be a little bit wider. The length of this shoe should be a little bit longer than that one. So I actually went in on my picture and kind of measured those things out so that I would know, okay, what width are we talking? What height are we talking? Where does this shoe hit the other shoe? So I already did a lot of that measuring. Now I'm going to go in and add a little bit more detail. So yeah, I'll tune back in with you after I have more detail.